Hello and welcome to the Franchise Tag Overtime. I am Gareth Smith, and today I'm joined by a very special guest in the Minnesota Vikings, cornerback Mekhi Blackmon. How are you doing?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for your time today. I do truly appreciate it, as I know you at the moment are in the middle of training camp. How's that going right now?
Training camp's going real good. Everybody's getting to work. We have joint practice with the Cardinals this week, so everything's going good.
And those joint practices sometimes can get a bit interesting. I've seen reports on various other ones and didn't see much of controversy in your one, thankfully. But how did you find locking horns with another team?
So last week was my first time ever doing it against Tennessee, and I feel like it went pretty well. And then I feel like Coach KOC does a real good job with talking to us before about our emotions and stuff as far as getting to with the other team. So I feel like on all aspects of our team, we've been real good with that. We haven't had really any issues.
Which is good to see, because you do see normally these camps, they can get quite explosive when they do merge together. And obviously you've got quite a good coaching staff. You obviously mentioned one coach there. You've also got probably one of the most respected defensive coordinators in the league in Brian Flores as well. How do you find learning from him so far?
He's a man about his business. I like how he goes about the game. He puts pressure on the quarterback. So, that's real good being a DB. So I guess that's all you can really ask for, somebody who comes to work every day. He's always looking to improve the defense. He tells us he's doing things to fit our assets. So I would say it's real good.
And at this point, I want to take it back a little bit, because obviously it's your first season in the league. And it's not that long ago that you heard your name announced in the draft and where you were going. How did you feel when when that third round came and your name was said?
I was real happy because it was, the Vikings, and I had took a visit here with my teammate, Jordan Addison. So seeing him get called the day before and then me going to the same exact team as him was kind of real good for me. So I was really happy.
And have you had much of a chance to experience Minnesota yet, to get to acclimatize with the city?
I've went out to the mall a few times, but other than that, it's pretty much been just ball. So I'll probably get a little time this next week when we get a little few days off. So I'll probably go do something.
And what can the fans in Minnesota expect from you this season?
A guy who's going to do his job. Up to this point, I feel like you guys can, read about it, ask the coaches. Or I'm not sure if you read articles and stuff, but just a guy who's going to come do his job. I'm looking to, put the secondary to where we need to be. Leaning on a few guys, Byron Murphy, Harrison Smith, and Cam Bynum, those guys like that. Just trying to come in and make a real impact in the secondary this year.
And you've come into, say, quite a good competitive team as well in Minnesota, who obviously made the playoffs last year. You are also part of a very, very interesting division this year. Not often do you see a division where, if you listen to these so-called experts, all seem to name a different team could win it. What do you think the difference will be to make sure that Minnesota are the team that dominate this division this year?
The team that's most consistent week in and week out is going to be the team to win the division. So I would say just that.
And as I say, it's an interesting one with some teams like, for example, the Lions, who've risen up in the last few years, the Bears with what's going on over there, and obviously an Aaron Rodgers-less Packers, which we don't know what we're going to get from Jordan Love until obviously he plays competitive games. So it's going to be an interesting one. Yourself as a team, how confident are you going into this season so far?
Me personally, I'm a rookie, so I don't really know where the mindset was last year, and I don't really know the difference between this year. So I'm just kind of filling it out. But I'm pretty sure just hearing what our coach talks about in meetings, everybody's pushing sky's the limit for us. So I guess from that aspect, that's what we're all reaching for. But I don't really know the difference between this year and last year, so I can't really tell you how to.
And one thing you have actually mentioned, obviously being a rookie, but even as a rookie, you got to experience something quite interesting this year. You got to come over to these shores, the United Kingdom, and come over here and experience life in the UK. How did you find that trip back in July?
I think it was real fun, real eye-opening. Just talking to a few fans. I believe it's an 8-hour time difference or whatever it is. So, just talking to them about the times that they're watching the games. When we have a night game on Sunday, they're up early morning, Monday morning, watching the game, and they still have to go to work the next day. So I feel like that was real crazy for me. But just being in the UK as a whole, I feel like it was a real fun trip.
Oh yeah, no, it's an endurance event for us British fans watching American sports. Like the Super Bowl, we're up till 4 a.m. in the morning, watching that. Which, if your team's playing, fair enough, you are. Whereas if you're doing that just because you're a fan of the sport, it's obviously a lot more intense. But you also got to experience some British sports as well. You went to Wimbledon, you went to the F1. How did you find both of those experiences? Because they're very different, obviously.
I never really watched F1. I would watch tennis here and there, but I was never like really into it. But actually being there and watching the F1 and then watching Wimbledon as well, I would say it was real cool. You kind of get to see other pros do their job, and you kind of see like the work ethic everybody's putting in, but it's two total different sports. So it's kind of real crazy.
And obviously Wimbledon being one of those sports that relies on good weather. Same with F1, to be fair. And us Brits, we don't traditionally get it that often. So you did also get to experience a wet Silverstone, which is fairly standard for an F1 event in the UK. So interesting that you got to experience. What was your highlight of that trip over here?
To be honest, the whole trip was really eye-opening. I believe we went to the Wireless Festival, which was like a concert.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to that.
Yeah,
it was crazy. And then I think the next day we went to F1, so it was like another whole new experience. And then my last day there, we went to Wimbledon, of course. So I never was at ease. Kind of everything I was doing was kind of eye-opening to me. So the whole trip as a whole was really nice. And
obviously, the Vikings has selected the UK as its international market. So how much would you like to come over here and actually play a game in the UK at either Tottenham or Wembley, two iconic stadiums?
Yeah, they did it last year. So I feel like I told you earlier, just speaking about with the other fans in the UK and how the time difference is really big. I feel like it would, they would really appreciate if we played more games out there. I know there's probably like one or two a year out there, but I feel like as the fan base grows, I feel like we should do more and more games out there for sure.
And us British fans are always appreciative when games do come over. So we get between 3 and 4 a year. And traditionally it's the Jaguars for years were the team that we would see. But it's interesting how these international growth markets potentially could change that as well. How excited are you as well as we get close to the season, playing your first game at such an iconic stadium as well in US Bank Stadium there in Minnesota?
I kind of felt it last week when the preseason game, so I can only imagine how it's going to be in regular season. I just can't wait till September 10th against the Bucks.
And it doesn't. It's famous for being quite a loud stadium as well. Particularly, bearing in mind you're being on the defense, you'll hear it when it's at its loudest because obviously they try to put off the offense. What do you want the fans to do this season in regards to what do you want them to bring to the atmosphere?
Just bring their energy week in and week out. Defense, we're going to need it, especially going against, the high-powered offenses in this league.
Yeah. But no, thank you very much, obviously, for your time today. I do appreciate it. It has been absolutely honoured to speak to yourself this season. Good luck with the season. I will be hoping you do well this year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone, as well, for listening at home. We'll be back soon with another very special guest.